Welcome to Chalk Talk. Andy Billman here, Rob Valore there. Let's pick up your sticks. Only the Browns can make monstrous noise, as Rob chuckles, after the season is over, and they're not going to the playoffs. I have watched many teams throughout my lifetime. Since 99, the Browns make news on anything. And the Browns made some news on Monday. And it's actually big news, and I'll take this. It was actually good news, I think, for us fans. Watson has been sent to IL Siberia. We'll get into that more of that later. Also, there is a head coaching no search there. Offensive coordinator search happening. Tommy Reese has been the only revealed candidate so far, so Browns, we'll get into the possibilities there. The Cavs are a lot more easily to digest. They have a nice lemon zest to it right now.
Absolutely.
They play OKC tonight. We'll get into that game. And the Cavs are 31-4 in their amazing run. And then the Buckeyes are getting ready to ramp up to play the Longhorns, and the Irish play the Nittany Lions. But first, like I said, it's the Browns. Only the Browns can make big news after a day of 48 hours, I should say, losing to the Ravens. All right, so Andrew Berry said, hey, we're going to have a brand new – let me get the exact quote from Mr. Berry. I think the reality of that room being the quarterback room, is it will look way different next year. Basically saying Watson, who had a setback, will no longer be in the quarterback picture. Nothing against the man for his injury, but that's great news for the Browns.
Absolutely. Do you think it's ironic that he had a setback, air quotes? The setback comes out on Sunday, the day before the press conference. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
I'm actually going to give credit to the Browns. If they were to do this, they got the job done.
They got the job done.
And barked. If there was a real setback and injury, then they got lucky.
Yeah.
Is it probably
absolutely.
Knowing, I think you know this too. You've been in big business for a while. Is it probably a combination of both? It probably is. It probably is some sort of setback. I will be honest with you. I think Watson's videos on social media are bizarre.
What the hell is that?
Very weird. Very weird for a guy who's injured and had a terrible year. I can't explain his transition whatsoever.
Here's what I could say, and I applaud. I hate to say it, I applaud the organization for this.
Yep.
I'm glad they did it Monday morning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You come out on Black Monday, you fired a coach, blah 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 blah. This was almost better because now you absolve yourself from the aura, from the black cloud, and now we can now move on. We fired Dorsey, Dickerson, who we all know Dickerson's been gone since week 5, and Vrabel was doing it.
I got to pause there for a second. That storyline did not get played enough. Like, what happened with Dickerson? Like, what did he just disappear? Like, it's so strange.
Something happened. It seems like he was either in over his head, Andy, or that was just that. Yes, that's something will come out of that because Vrabel had to step in and take over. I mean, it's
bizarre. That doesn't happen in the NFL anymore. It's a bizarre storyline. I think the Browns, I'm going to say this, the Browns need to be less mysterious. That press conference was a start. Watson has had a setback, and the quarterback room is changing. It's going to be different next year. Thank you.
But he stated the obvious, though.
You know what, though, Rob? The Browns don't do that, and the Browns then the Browns tend to do the less obvious. So I wanted to say thank you. We need some clarity. Thank you. Now we don't have to guess. Now I can analyze Kirk Cousins coming in because I know Watson's not battling them anymore. No. So all this needed to happen. And I do like the fact that you can tell they're speeding up this. Watson's going to be here, but here as in some room or at his house. It's not about Watson next year. Thank you.
I am puzzled because obviously it seems like the coaching moves are done. I am puzzled Bubba Ventrone is still in Berea.
I don't understand that at all. I know there's a lot of rumors he's going with Vrabel to the Patriots. And if that, and by the way, so there are, so this is where now back to the Browns that we know. Then there's rumors about Tommy Reese going with Vrabel as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those rumors. I think that is very odd. I do. I think that's odd. For a team that went 3-14, you're bringing with you a lot of people. I mean, Ventrone really had struggles.
I can't believe Vrabel would take Ventrone.
I don't get it. I've never seen a guy overhype special teams, and he overhyped special teams. Ventrone there saying you're going to see new plays. We're going to be dynamic. We were the scared bunny rabbit of teams, where it's just like we all started saying this by week, I don't know, 10 or 11. Just catch the ball and knee.
Oh, yeah.
Just catch the ball and knee and just don't fumble. And I can't believe with all the exciting plays on special teams we saw, and there was a jump up because of the new rules, that we took a step back.
Absolutely.
And it's just amazing. I just don't understand. But
Andy, do you remember when we hired Bubba? When we hired Ventrone, everybody was going nuts. This guy's going to be a head coach. This guy's, I mean, it was going to be crazy.
Yes, and as we're talking now, we'll do some breaking news. First time we ever do this on Chalk Talk. The Browns just made an announcement. They've hired a new offensive line coach. Their new offensive line coach is Mike Bloomgren.
I just saw that.
Mike Bloomgren comes in from Rice University, sounds like, back in the day. And he led them back-to-back. Sounds like he's an Alabama guy, too. Was the graduate assistant there back in the late 90s. So they've already replaced Dickerson, which is good to hear. So that is good. So it's good now that they actually have someone in place now to replace. I don't know much about Mr. Bloomgren. Do you?
No. First time hearing of this guy. But I like that they're moving quick, because with all these I'm telling you, with all these coaches getting hired, there's going to be a lot of moving parts soon.
Yep.
And
they need to do it quickly. So again, Mike Bloomgren is the new. He is
as long as it wasn't Mike Holmgren. When I saw that come across the ticker, I almost shit. I thought I said Mike Holmgren. I had to check my eyes because if we were bringing Mike Holmgren, I said, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah.
So that's good to hear. So one down. I also okay. Now let's go back to offensive coordinator. Actually, I want to do one more. The Dickerson story I want to hear more about because I don't think that was being publicized enough, and I don't understand why. Because if there was really a moment where he checked out as coach, some reporter needs a report on that. Why wasn't that reported during the season? I just don't understand.
Nothing was said about it. Batonio, nobody said anything about it afterwards. You heard a lot about the assistant offensive line coach because during Hard Knocks, he was chirping and he was running his mouth quite a bit, but nothing about Dickerson. That's a good question.
Like, why wasn't this talked about? Like, why can't we sit there and acknowledge that failed? I just think it's the season that we had. And
Andy, how much does Dorsey, the OC, how much is he involved with the offensive line coach? You would think that those two guys would pretty much have to work pretty close together. I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but you think that they would don't you think that they would be?
I was so unimpressed with Dorsey. And the moment that I paused, and I didn't hit this hard enough, is when he explained his wide receiver routes.
Oh, that was the best.
That was like,
you knew we were doomed.
Because they're not even going to run routes. They're just going to get open. It's like.
Yeah, just get open. That's what I tell my kids in second grade. Just go out and get open and we'll find you, right? In flag football. Just go out there and get open.
It really makes you wonder what the hell is going on in Berea when these people say these things out loud. So I do want to give the Browns credit. I actually think they're taking note. I give Barry credit. Don't hide it. Hey, he's hurt. Setback. Problem. Solved. We're going to get a new quarterback in.
Okay, a couple things real quick. I've seen the reports now. The Browns called Buffalo and they checked up on Dorsey, and they said Dorsey was a nice man. He had a hard time communicating with the offense, getting his philosophy through. Obviously, he didn't want to run the ball. So Buffalo was honest with Cleveland.
Yep.
For some reason, they keep saying Stefanski still hired him.
Barry made that clear.
You keep hearing that Stefanski hired him, and then I keep seeing these videos about Ford, how he ran much better in the zone run scheme last year.
Yep.
So we'll talk about now. You want to talk about offensive coordinators, Andy? Why not Stefanski? Why not go back to Stefanski's offense?
See, I'm going to compliment that. I think Stefanski needs to hire an assistant that gets his offense going. And whether that's an assistant, meaning I don't even mind this point if he has a real assistant head coach, where someone's like, I'll handle some things so you can focus on getting the offense right. I want Stefanski to get his offense right because now he's at that point. He doesn't get another shot.
Yep.
3-14, you're gone.
Yep.
So you get one more chance to run your offense, to run your zone blocking scheme, get an offensive coordinator in there, whether it's Tommy Rees, Doug Peterson's a name you're hearing out there, Clint Kubiak, Josh McCown, whatever. Whatever that gentleman is who's going to be in there with you, I would actually make sure you're able to run your offense, whether that's you calling plays, which I would actually suggest, but it's up to Stefanski. He's got to get someone in there, though, that I agree with you, that can run his offense.
Yep.
All about you, babe. So next year, you got to do what you want to do.
Yep.
So I will say, Andrew Berry, there's been too much, I think, sports talk chatter in the Cleveland market about analyzing who did the Dorsey hire. After Berry said that, to me, it's like, well, then Stefanski made the hire.
Now, yeah, he kept saying Stefanski, so to me, it was all Kevin.
It's all Kevin. So it's like, now, did Stefanski get influenced? Yes, I do think that. Do I think there was a circle of people and then Kevin made a decision? Yes. I don't think Kevin went to his office and said, I'll tell you who the new coordinator is in a few minutes.
Right.
I think he sat around and handle, but they did definitely make it a point to saying Kevin was comfortable with the decision. So it wasn't just some weird thing going back and forth.
Which to me was awkward to begin with, because Dorsey didn't have a great track record coming out of Buffalo, and it just didn't fit. I mean, it never fit to begin with. It didn't fit the AFC North. It didn't fit the whole thing. In my opinion, was an abortion from the start. But like you said, this to me has got to be, as much as I'm a Stefanski guy, Andy, this is it now. So this is it for Mr. Berry and Mr. Stefanski. So, and I've said this to you before, if we're going down, it's got to be, we're going down my way. So
I agree.
It's got to be, we got to be going down my way, and let Stefanski decide the quarterback. Let Stefanski call the plays. And I love what you just said. Maybe let's get an assistant head coach that maybe can handle some of the other duties, so to speak, and let Kevin call the plays. Because when Kevin called the plays, we won a lot of games with guys that aren't even in the league anymore.
That's right. And here's a big thing, too, for Stefanski that he's got to learn. He has got to learn right now, too. You have got to do things forward thinking of winning. Don't worry about feelings. Don't worry about perception.
Yep.
You've got to start worrying about wins.
Yep.
And I will say that's something I'm still not hearing. Oh, Andrew and I are in concert. Oh, Kevin and I are in concert. I don't want to fucking hear that.
Yeah, who cares?
That should be a given.
Yep.
What I want to hear about it is, hey, we're here to win games. And the Browns aren't still talking that way. So that's why I'm not too enthusiastic either. I'm still not hearing that language. And again, like with Stefanski, you hire the dude who either takes things off your plate in game day or takes your plate off and running the offense. You want to run. You want to run.
You want to run. Yep.
Yeah, and again, I will say this to Stefanski Two, with what's been getting commented, it's a collaboration fail. Barry, whoever else, and Kevin, the Dorsey Dickerson hire were terrible. Okay?
Awful.
So now, forward. Reese, Peterson, Kubiak, and McCown, those are the names that are kind of getting bantered around. To be transparent, I don't really lean one way or the other. I'm actually probably okay with any of these 4 names. Do you have a leader? I really don't have a leader. If I had to say, okay, you point one direction, I would say Peterson's. He's got head coaching experience.
I mean,
even that, I don't have to have that.
Peterson, because he's a name. I mean, Tommy Reese was here last year as your tight ends coach.
He's a weird offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator for the Irish. He played quarterback for the Irish. I will warn people, Reese is weird. I'm just going to say that now. I'm not saying he's bad. He's just weird.
But is Reese going to run Stefanski's offense? There's no way Peterson's going to come in, and is he going to run Stefanski's offense? I don't know. Peterson's a whack job too.
Well, he is, but he's a whack job offensive coordinator and coach. He can coach offense.
He can coach offense.
I actually think Reese will probably – I think it's 1 or 2 roads for Reese. I think Reese is going to take the Browns gig or he's going to the Patriots. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. I really do.
But what if Brady talks Vrabel into what if he beats Kraft out and he takes Vrabel to or to Vegas? Brady and Vrabel are tight. Why do you think it's ironic that all of a sudden they fire Antonio Pierce yesterday afternoon? Tom Brady is trying to get in front of Robert Kraft up there.
If I were Vrabel, I'd go back to New England.
Oh, absolutely.
I would not go to – look, I love the Browns. You love the Browns. Browns, Jets, and Raiders are a mess, okay?
Oh, a mess. Mark Davis is clueless. I mean, that's
very bizarre.
Look at Tennessee. Now this year, yesterday, they fire Rand Carthon.
I think they're bizarre too.
What a disaster. They should have fired Rand Carthon last year and kept Vrabel. Yeah, I mean,
I think they're bizarre too. I can't. Again, if I were Reese, Reese is not. I'm just going to tell you this. He's a good coordinator. He's not great. He is not a good coordinator. What Reese does well is he handles pressure well, and he has no problem taking authority and bringing on authority. So he really is a guy that can handle both sides of it. If you want him to take the lead, he will. If you want him to collaborate, Reese will. I will tell you, though, Reese is not like – it's not going to be some scientific new offense.
Right.
Reese is pretty much going to do his thing. But, again, he's weird. He'll drive you crazy a little bit. But I think he is good. I don't think he's great. I think Peterson could be great. I think Clint Kubiak could be great.
I think Kubiak could be great. But
I think it could be great too, yes.
But once again, those are guys that I think are going to want to call the plays.
You're not wrong to say that. You're right. I mean, and that's the thing now too. Kevin's given that up. So Kevin can't say there's no precedent for that. McCown, I don't have a read either way. I actually think the other 3 names to me make more sense than McCown. But McCown's going to be just getting interviewed to be the Giants head coach. So what do I know? Which is great.
The Giants? No.
He's being interviewed to be the Giants head coach? Yep.
Dable. I thought Dable made that cut. Jets.
You mix them up as they're both so shitty.
What about I thought Rex Ryan guaranteed he was going to get the job? Another buffoon.
I will say that guy's entertaining.
He is entertaining. McCown is one of those guys to me that I think, could he be like Van Pelt where he could be the coordinator and maybe he doesn't call the plays? But I don't know.
I have no read on McCown. I really don't. I don't know.
If I'm Stefanski and this is my last shot, do I want to insist on calling plays?
I don't know. I mean, again, I can't speak to Stefanski. If I looked at this list, I would tell him I would take Peterson or Kubiak. Take someone who's really done it, who you're really familiar with. I'm telling you, Reese would be weird. I'm not saying it's bad. I think McCown's a big unknown. Could be great, could be bad. I don't know.
If you take Reese, he's got Stefanski's calling plays. I think Kubiak is the best one out of the bunch. Peterson isn't it time to – I mean, come on.
But I think Peterson can really coach an offense. And he does need that. You do need someone to be like, hey, Kev, I'm calling this plays. I know we'll get a first down. And Peterson does do stuff. He's got a good success record as offensive coordinator. Like when you listen to other NFL guys talk this week, they all said Peterson will get an offensive coordinator job. He can coach. He's just not a good head coach. So any of those four to me, but I can't say I hate any of them. I think all of them make sense on some sort of level. All right. So now to the draft.
What about Chip Kelly? What about Chip Kelly leaving Ohio State?
Well, I mean, his whole reason for
won't happen.
His whole reason for leaving UCLA is to be more comfortable. I actually think Chip Kelly and Ryan Day are a match. And now that that's being displayed, I'll jump ahead for a second. That's actually a powerful tandem for the Buckeyes. Yeah. Because if they keep winning and Chip Kelly does what this is doing, holy cow. Like, that's a great combo for recruits. That says a lot about what you're doing.
I don't think it's going to happen. I just saw somebody was talking about it the other day on X, and I don't think that – I don't see it.
I would actually even caution teams. He just turned down the UCLA job to become the offensive coordinator. Like, to give him another offensive coordinator job somewhere else, I just would let him stay at Ohio State. I think that's actually his goal. I think he likes working with Ryan Day. They're buddies. They're friends. I think Chip Kelly's mental health is more. And by the way, kudos to him. That makes sense. I actually think that hasn't been talked about enough. With everything that's happened to Ohio State, that relationship, that marriage is really working out. Yeah. So to that point, take a note, Kevin Stefanski. Maybe my partner Rob here is right. Maybe you do take Kubiak because you're comfortable with him, and that will make you more comfortable as a head coach.
Yep.
Maybe you do. That makes sense. I mean, not wrong. Okay, so new quarterbacks. You want to talk about new drafting quarterbacks first or free agent quarterback possibilities first? Which one interests you more?
Let's go free agent quarterbacks first.
All right. There's going to be a lot more rumors heating up about Cousins coming to Cleveland. I think that's going to be the hot rumor. I don't care if you like it or you don't like it out there, fans. It's going to happen. It's a match there for natural reasons. And if they were ever to hire Kubiak, holy cow, that would really ramp up.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Cousins?
I mean, from the start, I don't like it. I don't see it. I don't think, but I think the reality is he's probably coming to Cleveland. I just don't see how. I mean, I understand the marriage. I understand the background. I just don't see how his arm, he can't move. I'm not sure what you're going to do with him. And if when we go on later in the show, I don't. There's not many quarterbacks that I want to take in this draft, so I don't see Cousins making it all 17 games next year. I don't see Cousins being Joe Flacco from 2 years ago.
Probably true.
You know what I'm saying? And his Cousins threw more interceptions in his last 4 games than our boy Jameis.
Cousins in that system, though, is tempting. I'm very torn on what to do with Cousins.
But why not give me a chance with Fields? Why not give me a chance? And everyone, they go nuts. Zach Wilson. Who's to say that Zach Wilson can't be Sam Darnold? Why?
He's terrible.
Sam Darnold was terrible.
Well, by the way, and he turned out to be great. I don't buy Zach Wilson the way he talks. Zach Wilson by his actions. That's a minor league Johnny Manziel. I don't want that on this team. I would go crazy. They took Zach Wilson. I would lose my mind.
There's other. How about the kid in Cincinnati? How about Jake Browning? How about we get Jake? You don't like Jake Browning. I mean, there's other guys. What?
I'll take Daniel Jones. I like that idea. I do.
I mean, give me that. We bitched and moaned about it, but give me that. I'd rather have Danny Dimes than Cousins. Now here's the thing. If you're going to give me Cousins and the Falcons are paying for him and it's $1.2 million or whatever we got to pay for,
league minimum.
Cousins is our backup, and we've got the third guy on the bench is our rookie that we're grooming, then maybe. But is Cousins, because here's the thing, where's Cousins going to start? Cousins is coming here because there's nowhere else to go.
It's a 1-year bridge. You're basically saying we're taking 1 year to figure this out. That's why Cousins financially and because of the Stefanski relationship, I can't say it's a bad idea. I get it.
And nobody else wants him. Who else wants him?
Rob, I don't disagree.
Nobody else wanted. Where's Ryan Tannehill? He's probably doing a podcast like you and I, but he's probably got 3 more subscribers.
Buddy, to be truthful, Sam Darnold, who played terribly the year before for the Panthers, somehow wound up in Minnesota. Why? He didn't have many other options. Like, this is just one of those things. Like, the only thing I'll say, though, again, it's not crazy. It's not a bad idea. I will say that. Am I a Cousins guy? God, no. I'm not. Do I enjoy his play? No, I don't. But do I see success and wins? I do. I can see it. It's not crazy. If they won 10 games with Cousins and Stefanski, like, sure, that's not crazy.
I just saw his body of work last year, and I just saw a guy, and I never hated or loved Cousins before, but Andy, his arm was so weak.
Wet noodle.
He couldn't move. He held the ball so long. I just saw a guy that was just, he not only mental or physically was past his prime, mentally was past his prime. And I don't know if Stefanski, Kubiak, Jesus Christ, who can get this guy to win? I mean, who can get this guy to win games?
I think
Stefanski
can do it. I do with Cousins. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen because I am weird. Like, if Cousins went to the Raiders, I'd be like, terrible decision, terrible move.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like, I'd be like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like,
I do understand. If he's going to do it, if anybody's going to do it, it would make sense.
Cleveland.
Stefanski, Cleveland, it would make sense. Or he just hangs the cleats up because he really has done a good job of you want to talk about gun in a ski mask. This guy's done a great job of making money throughout
and
his
by the
career.
way, I'm going to say this out loud. Now to some other things to help Rob's argument. Cousins will not help support the new quarterback as a rookie. He is not the guy's a prick. So there's none of this like he's going to mentor. He's not going to mentor anybody.
But there was that video we saw when he was praying with Michael Penix and all that stuff. So you don't think he's a nice guy?
When the cameras are on, Cousins does nice things.
Well, okay.
I have not heard good things about Cousins, okay? So I'm not going to sit there and start saying like, hey, look, Cousins is there to win, and I do want to win. And I do think out of even Daniel Dimes, the best high rate to win is probably Cousins. You want to bring Daniel Jones in here? Fine. The other guy who makes a lot of sense, but the Browns won't do it, nor do I think they should do it, and it's very expensive, is Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers can still play. Rodgers' numbers are still good, but Rodgers was in a terrible situation. And again, Rodgers is a prickly character, not easy to get along with.
He's too much drama. Mm-hmm. We don't need the drama. He's gonna really. You want to take a volatile situation, and I mean, you're pouring gasoline on a fire here.
You'll never talk about Watson again.
No, you'll never talk about Watson.
See, again, like those are the things. Like I do think Cousins has some of those Roger dramatics. I will say, everywhere he's played, it's always drama with Cousins too. It's just not as loud. Right. So I don't want that. That's why I'm not. Oh, you got to bring Kirk Cousins in. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying it makes sense. Like honestly, if you gave me a real gun to my head, I'm like, Daniel Jones actually makes to me the most sense because he's going to want to perform well. He does seem like a genuine nice guy. He won't be that expensive.
He can still move. He can throw the ball. He's not 50.
He's not 50. Dayball quit on him. So to be fair, the guy got some positivity. I kind of wonder what he can do. But again, does Daniel Jones throw the ball over the field? No, he's kind of, again, one of those quarterbacks. He is a game manager. Yeah. But Stefanski likes that in a way.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And back to Rodgers, I think that you are I hope the guy just retires. I just think that, and you're right, he's not going to. I think that the Jets, we heard all off season, the Jets were they were the best team. They were so loaded, blah, 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 blah. And I'm glad they spit up all over themselves. They fired, Robert Saleh was not that bad of a coach. He really wasn't. And you see what happens when you let a player run the organization.
The Browns and Jets are blueprints of what happens because we're not acknowledging the main point. Watson ran the Browns last year, ran the Browns at 3-14. Last year, the Jets were ran by Aaron Rodgers to 5-12. If you allow an Aaron Rodgers to complement your team, he actually has talent. I don't think Watson has any more talent either. That's why I think Watson has to go, which they're all acknowledging now. Now, Rodgers ran the Jets at 5-12. Last year, let's face it, we all knew Flacco should have came back. They put in Winston. Didn't make sense. Why? He's a buddy. And that's why, honestly, Winston does have to go. We can't have any more of this tie into Watson. No, goodbye. Like, nothing against the young man. Nice dude, but no. Go play somewhere else. Need someone with clean ties.
Yeah, I think that quarterback room it'll be fresh. As much as I fell in love with Jameis for those 4 weeks and his unwavering faith, and he could be a motivational speaker.
Yes,
he gave in a horrible year. Jameis provided some great highlights, and
he reminds me of a party in college when you had such a great time, and at the next day you go, "What happened?" Well, we lost. We lost a few $100, but it was great.
It was great.
You won't believe what we did. and then you go on. You're like, "Do you want Jameis in your life later on?" Probably not. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great while it lasted, right?
That's so much fun.
All right. And here's the thing. He'll probably sign on with somebody, and he's a guy that you know he can come off the bench and win you a game or two, but you never want to start him for more than a couple of games.
No, in fact, if I were the Carolina Panthers, nice fit. Put him right there beside Young. I think he'd actually be a great mentor to him. The Panthers actually showed a lot last year. That'd actually be a nice fit. He's not going to play a lot next year. Young's actually coming out of the kudos to that kid. That kid,
he really,
shows a lot of guts. Tells you the importance of coaching.
Yeah,
that coach got his shit together the second half of the season.
Panthers screwed me the last game of the year. I needed the Falcons to win that game in the worst way.
Well,
and the Falcons.
Oh my God, barf! I took the Bucks. Barf! I took the Panthers. I took the Falcons. Barf! And then the one I go, okay, I feel confident about taking this. And now I'm forgetting. Oh, the Titans. Texans are going to try. Barf! God. 0-3. Oh, it's like taking Marquette against Georgetown 12-0.
Oh, my God.
God, Marquette. All right,
awful.
Let's talk about drafting. So I like Kiper. You can go to any of these guys, but I do like Kiper. I like Kiper and 2 or 3 others. But let's go to Kiper's, not his predictions, just his best players. Here we go. Number 1's Travis Hunter. Number 2's Carter out of Penn State. 3's Graham. 4 is Sanders out of Colorado. Cam Ward's 5. Will Johnson's a cornerback from Michigan. He's a good player. 6, I skipped a few places. 9 is Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas. He has not been getting the greatest reviews as of late. He still was seen as very good. I will say I don't think he's a top 5 guy. And then McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona, who I know nothing about. I watch a lot of college football. I saw no Arizona plays last year, so I can't even comment on that. As you know, the Browns draft 2. Rob Valore is the GM.
Where's my boy Pierce? Where's James Pierce? Did he drop down to, where is he, 11, 15? I'm sorry.
Give me a second. Stand by. Let's see if I got it still up here. Give me a second as I talk. Who would you take at number 2? What would you do?
Okay. Rob Valore is the GM, and I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely zero chance that I'm taking a quarterback in that pick. I am listening to all offers. I am getting out of if I cannot field offers that I really, really want. And I think I can, because Mark Davis is going to want to come up and he's going to want that pick. Mark Davis is going to want that pick because what do you think is going to happen at 1? You think the Titans are going to take a quarterback, right?
They have to. In fact, I would tell you, okay, I'll give it 30 seconds on the Titans. The 30 seconds I have on the Titans is they have no identity. I don't know who's on their team. They have to make a big splash. In fact,
and they have no GM right now.
None. In fact, if I were telling them, talking the truth with it, I'd be like, you really need to think about drafting Travis Hunter. Yeah, because you need to make a big splash here. And you need a splashy player. I would say you gotta draft him or Sanders or Ward. You can't even go anywhere else, in my opinion.
Okay. So with that being said, if I don't think they're gonna take Hunter. I think that they are going to take Sanders or Ward at 1.
Okay.
Now, I, under no circumstance, want a quarterback at number 2.
Okay.
At no circumstance in this draft do I want a quarterback at number 2. I am listening to all calls, and I am getting out of this pick. I am loading up as much as I can because I feel that I can get my boy, I can get Carter, I could get James Pierce, I can get a first rounder next year, and I feel that because here's what we need. We need defensive line, we need offensive line, but we're not going to take the first round. We need defensive backfield, linebackers. We need everything, right? We need really, truthfully, everything. But when you're in this position, you take the best player available, okay? Best player available. Don't reach right here and take this quarterback just because it's the sexy thing. They're not going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. There's going to be all this smoke and all this lip service, and you're going to hear all this shit. Now, real quick, let me go on here. I love the noise that's coming out about the kid from Medina who's playing at Penn State. I love the Drew Aller noise. I wouldn't take him with the if he could go top 3, he would come out. If the Browns could somehow get him, I wouldn't take him at 2, Andy, but the kid intrigues me. I wouldn't take him at 2, but if the Browns could, that intrigues me. But back to your original question, if I'm drafting, I'm the GM, I'm getting out of that second pick because I'm taking Carter, I'm taking Pierce, I'm taking, or like you said, McMillan, I'll take that wide receiver because here's what I want. I want Scatterboo. Give me Cam Scatterboo, okay? Give me Genty, but give me Scatterboo first. And I feel if I can get myself back up in the late first round, early second round, I'm going to be able to get those guys.
A lot of experts, I heard this morning from 2 different publications and websites have said they believe they're going to trade down. That's what they're hearing. And so now I'm going to push back and say I have a big asterisk. Okay, if you take the kid Carter out of Penn State. Don't go past 6. Get Carter. Get your best player, a fucking helper. Sack the quarterback. Yes. I don't want to go back. I'm not a Pierce fan like you are.
Okay, real quick, excuse me, real quick, because if you're Barry, Haslam, and Stefanski, and you tell Garrett and Batonio, we're going to win this year, we're restructuring, blah, 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 and then at number 2, you take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, you're giving them a big, right? Because Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are not going to help you win in 25.
If you have Cousins signed, no, you're fine. His Cousins will start.
Right, but we need someone. Garrett wants someone that's going to help in 25. And if you put, you don't love Pierce. I love Pierce, but if you put Carter next to Garrett,
yeah, I'm down with that.
That's somebody that's going to help.
Hunter's a star. I would take Hunter too. I don't care. I would take. You don't want these guys to fall through your fingers.
Give me Hunter at 2, but play the kid at 1 position, Andy.
Oh, the wide receiver, WR. No cornerback. I would even tell them that, like, you're playing wide receiver for us. You're not playing cornerback. We need you to score points. We need Judy and Hunter to score points. As you know, I do like Sanders. I don't love him. I like him. I would take Sanders at 2. I'd be fine with that. I'd take Cam Ward 2. That's fine. The trade down rule comes to this asterisk. If it's trade down, and then they run up there and they say Banks from Texas, I will lose my fucking mind. It's a terrible fucking draft. You cannot keep taking offensive tackles and trading down with not getting skill players. Defensive ends, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Players that can hit. I mean, I don't want to hear, and I'll tell you another player I do like too. Scatterboo's fine. I like Scatterboo a lot. Probably give him second, third round. I like that kid Warren a lot out of Penn State.
Love Warren. Love that kid.
My team all day long. The Browns are going to have an interesting decision at the top of the second round because if he's floating, I might trade back up in the first round and get his ass. Because the Browns could really use a guy like Warren. I just don't want to
trade to 6. You can't trade back to 6 and take Banks.
It will drive me crazy.
You can't trade. I mean, if you trade back,
scream.
No, I can see trading back to. I can see trading because I'm telling you right now, Mark Davis in Vegas is especially if he hires. Well, here's the thing: if he hires Vrabel, and now that Tom Brady's there, maybe they'll have some better common sense. But as it stands right now, I mean, the Raiders have Aiden O'Connell. They got my boy. Well, Gardner's probably out. He had a 1-year contract. I mean, they have nobody at quarterback, right?
No, the Raiders. Again, I would just say this politely. They actually have a good tight end. That tight end from Georgia's wonderful.
Oh, I love him. Brock Bowers.
Yeah, a guy can play. They actually have some parts. Their quarterback room is really bad. What I would actually argue for the Raiders is the Raiders are one of those organizations. Coach Prime, Sanders wouldn't be bad. These are really what sparks some interest. The Raiders are just a flat organization. They feel old. I don't know how else to say. They just feel dull. And it's like they could use some zip in there. So if they really want to go for it, I'd actually hire Prime too and just do the whole thing. Why not go all in on it? So I think that actually would grow a big spark. But that's the Raiders. Back to the Browns. I do not want to trade down for an offensive tackle. That will lose my mind. I also don't want to trade down to draft this kid Johnson out of Michigan. We don't need another cornerback right now. We need to fucking draft a player, defensive end, defensive line. You want to take the kid out of Michigan, defensive tackle, fine. You want to take one of the quarterbacks, fine. Carter, I would love. Carter would actually make me. If they trade down to 6, got a couple extra picks for Carter, great, good job.
I'd be happy.
Can't get mad at that. Hunter, the only player, I guess I got to use this word. The one player I do love is Hunter. I think Hunter's a really, really, really good player. I think
if they stayed at 2 and took Travis Hunter, I agree. I would be happy. Hunter or Carter, I would be happy because those are 2 players that on week 1 can participate and change the game, Andy.
Yes.
But if it's Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward on week 1, unless, I mean, Jaden Daniels is the anomaly. Most of these quarterbacks aren't coming in and producing right away, right?
Well, it's funny. Fielding Yates did a good interview today in KNR. And credit to KNR. They got a good interview today. And the way he phrased it is, I put Sanders and Ward in the same class as Nix and J.J. McCarthy. He goes, I don't think they're as good as Caleb or as good as Daniels. But I do see similarities in Nix and in Penix and that layer there where I think they are as good as those guys coming out. He goes, it's not a guarantee. And I think those other guys are a guarantee. He goes, but they're not as guaranteed to me as Daniels or Caleb. So he goes, that's where I kind of see him. That made me pause. It's like, okay, well, there's obviously that's some. He goes, now after those 2, it's a big drop for me in mystery. He goes, Milroe, I like. It's mysterious. He goes, like, I'm not a big fan of this guy from Ole Miss.
Jackson Dart. Give me Jackson Dart in the 5th round.
Kid's overrated.
And let him sit.
If you watch Ole Miss play in big spots, kid makes mistakes. Sorry. That bothers me. It drives me crazy as a fan. Milroe's 50-50. Sanders, I don't think had enough help. Every time I watch Cam Ward play, he made mistakes too. Cam Ward makes me iffy. But I get he's got all the parts. And when it comes to the kid Aller, great Cleveland story. Would never poo-poo it. That said, I don't know if Aller's really that. it player, but it's a great story.
Here's the thing about Aller. He's got the physical. He's the physical specimen of Josh Allen. Okay,
that's true. That's true.
His arm, he could make the throws. He's got the different arm angles. He's playing on Penn State, and their play calling and their offense has been, he's not throwing the ball 40 times a game. His accuracy has been an issue, although it's gotten better this year.
Yep.
I think he's a kid that can be. I mean, I'm starting to like him more. And listen, tomorrow night he could go out and stub his toe, or he can go out and we'll see what happens, and maybe we love him. But here's another thing about these other. Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, he could be a guy that may come out in the 5th round. He's running the pro style offense. You just don't know. You just don't know with some of these guys that you're taking a shot. And but Andy, I got news for you. I don't think DTR is the guy. Can we agree on that or no? You got to see a little more of him? You want to see some more?
NFL, not for long.
Not for long.
That's a great Jerry Glanville quote, and I see it all the time. Like, NFL stands for not for long. Yeah, DTR. Nice.
Do you think they're going to roster him? Do you think he's going to be back?
I don't know how he can. He played really bad.
I mean, I don't know how, if he's under contract, how could you, I understand a project, and I'm all about but I mean,
practice squad.
He has shown nothing.
Can't stay healthy. Can't make, guy stinks. Sorry. Guy stinks. Zappy's a good 3. How about that? Zappy's a 3. I'm okay. That's all right. I'll take Zappy at 3. We better not fucking
I would take Zappy over DTR.
I would too.
3.
At 3. He's a 3rd string, so that's fine.
Yeah.
The house is falling down. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Quick. Okay, that's the Browns, and they're not playing anymore. There's so much to talk about with a team that went 3-14. It's remarkable. All right, real quickly, we'll get to the Cavs then. The Buckeyes are coming up. We'll do a lot more of them probably on Friday. But real quickly, the Irish do play Penn State. Final Four is here. There was a lot more chatter from the Buckeyes, felt like going into the Rose Bowl game. Not feeling that same chatter going into the Longhorn game. You can tell everybody's kind of got the same opinion nationally, non-Ohioans. Texas got a good defense, but I really do believe Ohio State should win. Texas got a good defense, but I really do believe Ohio State should win. You hear that a lot. That's kind of how I feel going in this game, too. It's like Texas has the athletes, and Texas does have a good defense, but their offense is not going to keep up with Ohio State. They're flourishing in all cylinders. Yeah.
The big talk, obviously, is the weather. Everyone's worried about the storm and the snow and the weather. It's hard after what the Buckeyes did to Oregon, which they should have, right? It's hard to say much else. If Ohio State does their job, they should just, yes, Texas defense is solid. Is Quinn Ewers going to make the plays to beat the Buckeyes? And I just don't, right, you shake your head because I don't see Quinn Ewers beating us, buddy. I just don't see. And then what's going to happen is they get a little goofy. Quinn Ewers is going to throw a pick, and then they're going to put Arch in.
The only thing I would say in this game is don't let Texas hang around.
Yeah.
Because if you let Texas hang around, then Quinn Ewers will beat you. Quinn Ewers on a drive to win the game, he can actually do that. Quinn Ewers throwing 300 yards, nah. But for a drive to win the game, he can do that. Like that's something he can.
Let's come out like we did against the Ducks, punch him right in the mouth.
Yeah.
And we won't have to worry about it. Yeah. But if we come out apprehensive and But if Howard comes out and he's aggressive and we're throwing the ball all over the field, and I like it, and I think that there should be no stopping us. I mean,
it really shouldn't be. I actually think in this game, Ohio State's going to roll again and again. To do this without mentioning Jeremiah Smith, kid's best player in the country. Just get him the ball in space and let him roll.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, even Texas can't slow that down.
Nope.
I actually think Ohio State is in prime position to win this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Texas, second. I mean, I think the Texas game will be close, but I don't think it's going to be close where it's nail biting. That's kind of how I come to feeling. The other game is much more unpredictable. How much I love the Irish. For people who love college football, this is a rivalry that I wish I still was around. When I was growing up in the 80s, Paterno and Holtz went up against each other every year. And every game felt like it was great. Very, very rarely would either school blow out the other. Every game was nail-biting close. And Penn State actually tripped up the Irish a lot, especially I think it was 90 or 91. I'll look this up later. I think it was 91 or 90. I can't remember now. They were 91. They were going to win the national championship, looked like, and fucking Penn State beat them at home after Rocket Ishmael took a punt back for a touchdown.
Oh, my God.
And a really sad back. And so they've done that. And, again, great old-school rivalry here. It's funny. We talk about Ryan Day. There's a lot of redemption going on for Franklin and for Freeman, too, as they go to the Final Four here. Their heat's come off a lot. For those who don't follow, Franklin's kind of more national. Freeman, after NIU, was getting really talked about getting fired.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not looking good. So they both redeemed their careers here. And obviously it's a good story for college football because an African-American coach is going to be the national championship game, which is good for the sport, good for everybody. So there's a lot of good history in this game. Irish are the goofiest team. You really don't say, I love that guy. You kind of like players. The Irish are very opportunistic. When they have turnovers, they score points. When they get you in a situation where they know they have an advantage, unlike past teams of Kelly, this team exploits it. Like, you can't stop our run, we're going to keep running. You have a problem with turnovers, we're going to make you turn over the ball. You don't pay attention to special teams, we're going to embarrass you. The Irish do a great job of taking your weakness and making it to their advantage.
And exploiting it, yep.
And that's what they've done all year. And that's a credit to Freeman. He's actually changed his philosophy, saying we're going to actually attack what you can't do. Penn State reminds me of a good B-plus team. They're always very good. They're not great. They're very good. They don't scare you. Does Penn State scare you, Rob? It doesn't scare me.
No.
In fact, if I were Ohio State, I'd much rather see Penn State in that game.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I concur with you. Both of these teams have solid defenses. I think Riley Leonard is an okay. He's a mobile quarterback that runs. He's an okay quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, but here's where to me, here's where it comes down to. In this game, I think Penn State has the better, bigger, stronger athletes, and I think that's where if James Franklin, but is James Franklin the better coach than Freeman? That's what concerns me because Franklin has been an issue for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I like the Nittany Lions in this game, and I think it should be a dogfight. I think this game should be a dogfight. It should be an old-fashioned slobber knocker. And I'm starting to like Drew Aller, and this could be a game where he either makes something of himself or he spits up on himself. You know what I'm saying? Him and Tyler Warren tomorrow, it could be huge.
Yep.
He goes. I don't. They could get, they could get embarrassed because, like you said, Notre Dame will capitalize on their mistakes.
They will. That's what they've done all year. That's how they've beaten teams. They say, well, we're going to find your weakness, and we are going to now really make sure that we harden in on what you can't do. And Riley Leonard's that kind of player too. Riley Leonard's a quarterback that goes, if I have to run, I have to run. If I have to make passes, I have to make passes. Notre Dame does that. They don't really have a strength. Penn State is a very good team. I actually think the athletic ability is there for the Irish this year. The thing that stinks out of these 4 teams, by far the Irish are the most banged up.
Yeah.
The Irish have a lot of players that are out. Penn State's got better depth right now. We'll have to see if that becomes a factor in this game. Irish are banged up. They are one of the 4 teams that are really – everybody complains about Ohio State being banged up, but they were before this tournament. Notre Dame's had some big injuries. I mean, they just lost another guy on defense as a starter. So they are starting to get thinned out. That said, they seem to always have someone step up. Again, the Georgia game really worried me. And honestly, we watched the game. Georgia moved the ball, but every time there's a stop, Notre Dame got the stop.
Yep.
Every time there was a hint of a mistake, Notre Dame would exploit it. They won the special teams battle. They didn't just win them; they destroyed them. That block and then that fake was fantastic.
If Carson Beck played, do you think Georgia wins?
No, I don't think it matters in that game. Ironically,
I don't like Carson Beck, and people think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I actually thought Georgia had a better chance with Gunnar Stockton, but I agree. I thought that kid played well.
Yeah, I think he played well enough to win. They just couldn't on big downs and big plays. Notre Dame won all of them.
Yep.
I mean, that was the difference in the game. I mean, Georgia moved the ball, and again, Riley Leonard if you're not an Irish fan, he frustrates you because he doesn't have a great arm. He kind of looks like your friend who's playing football. Gets 8 yards. And it's not fast. It's not quick.
Right. But on 3rd and 7, like you said, on 3rd and 7, he'll scramble for 7.5, 8 yards. Yes.
He gets 8 yards. And it's like he's done it all year. So I'm actually at the point saying it's not sexy. And on a contest, you'd be like, this is the most least appealing. Guy gets yards. Guy gets first downs. Guy makes plays. And the Irish have done it all year. I will say that was the thing that impressed me. It carried over to Georgia, where it's like they keep making plays. Like Georgia, to me, is a better team, but they're not executing like the Irish does.
Yep,
that's a big difference.
And I tell you, Freeman. Here's what Freeman. I know you haven't loved them. I think Freeman, their defense. Listen, this should be a defensive battle because both of these teams have. I think their defenses are excellent, and Freeman. If Freeman can stop Warren and Aller. And both of those running backs that those kids at Penn State, I mean, this could be a classic. You know, Holtz and your boy Paterno will be. You know, they should be happy. This should be a classic. It should be a classic. But I hate to tell you this. I like Penn State tomorrow.
I understand. It's close. This game's a 1.5 for a reason. It's close. My heart says Irish, so I'm going with the Irish. I would not bet this game. I'd stay far away from it. So I can see different things happening. I do think the Irish are going to find a way to get it done. And again, if you told me how, it's like they'll make less mistakes. They'll make key points when they have to make key points. They also have a great tight end. He's not as good as Warren, but he's very good. And the Irish just tend to make winning plays. Yep. And honestly, you can circle this and put it on people's calendars of examples of redemption. The NIU for Freeman, the Michigan loss for Ohio State and Day, those losses have redeemed their seasons. It's almost like they needed to lose. Yep. Notre Dame has been so focused after that game. And it's only 2 games, but my God, the Ohio State looks like a different season. It's amazing what can happen with a loss in a team. Yep. Seen it in sports all my life. A loss sometimes, it's hard in a moment, but if you have a second opportunity, damn, it's amazing how teams take advantage of it. Both teams are on very, very similar paths right now.
The only thing that would surprise me tomorrow is a 2-score game one way or another. You know what I'm saying? If we come on here Friday and it's, 38-20, I would be surprised. Because I agree with you. I think I can see it going 24-21 either way. Yeah. Nothing would surprise me. Now, here's where your kicker, who hasn't been healthy all year, has gotten healthy.
He's playing better.
He's playing better. So stuff like that in a key moment, they really trust that kid. What the hell's his name? What's his name?
It's like Jeter or something.
Jeter. So Freeman trusts that kid. This could come down to a field goal. And it could be something like that. And I'd be amazed if it was anything more than a one possession game.
Ironically, out of the 4 teams, the one that helps the most, it actually helps the Irish a lot that are not playing South Bend anymore. They play better in warmer climate. They play better in neutral fields. Notre Dame travels. It's actually great they're playing in the Orange Bowl. Real quickly, because of time, we didn't talk about the Cavs. We're shameful. We'll do a whole show on the Cavs next week, folks. We'll do NFL picks and Cavs. Big game tonight. Cavs have been rolling. Okoro's questionable for this game. I do like the Cavs to win. I picked them today for our picks. I would take Mobley. I think Mobley's more of a key in this game. I really think Mobley will be able to maneuver around and make plays. One note that I've been hearing from a lot of experts, Thunder plays hard defense. You can tell by their numbers. They're the best defensive team in the NBA, but they really do foul a lot. Don't be surprised if some whistles don't get whistled for fouls. It's a big thing for scouts. They foul so much that referees will ignore some fouls after a while from the Thunder. It's their big ammo. It's something to watch in this game.
Here's a player that you really have to see for the Thunder and see how if he gets in our head and if he takes the game over defensively, is that Luguentz Dort. Okay?
Yep.
He could be the defensive player of the year. You have the best offense in the association going against the best statistical defense. If Dort if they can control the game defensively, and he can shut us down, it could be a long night. But you're right about the fouls, and if he could be physical and they don't call the foul, if he gets into foul trouble and they blow the whistle, it may be a non-factor. I can't wait to see this game. You're right. We're remiss. We're like the rest of the country. We pay the association. We give the poor Cavs we give them no airtime, Andy. We'll have
a lot more next week because it's the Browns, so you never know. I doubt much news will come in the next 24 hours. With the
Jesus
Browns.
Christ!
But you just never know.
But you know what? Though the Cavs at 30-4, they're 31-4. They're lining up for the playoffs, and they're doing a great job. That he's not playing anybody a ton of minutes. Let's knock on wood, nobody gets hurt, right? And let's just make sure that all of our ducks in a row come the postseason. And Cleveland, forget about the rest of the country. Let's get on board for the Cavs.
Great team. We're going to do next week. If there's some Browns news. Cavs, NFL playoff picks. It'll be the day before the Buckeyes game, be the day of the Buckeyes game. So we'll break down what happens in the Irish, and we may even tease a little bit of basketball. Click and subscribe on Chalk Talk. Again, it's the Browns. It's amazing. As I've learned with doing this, the Browns always make news.
Always.
What you least expected.
Browns we always got to talk about the clowns. Always talking about the Browns.
Thank you for all your support. If you click and like us, keep watching our videos. Have a great day. We'll be back here on Friday for more of it. Go Cavs, and we'll see you guys all here on Friday.
See you on Friday.